My warmth greetings to our dear panel of judges, co-presenters, and to everyone who are watching this presentation. Why research in the field of librarianship? Simply because we want to improve the quality services to our community. But how are we going to make a better decision and achieve library's effectiveness if we don't have necessary skills and knowledge to do it? Hi, my name is Lizelle Alcadjog, and today I will be presenting to you my study entitled Influence of Self-Efficacy and Perceived Valuableness in Research on the Research Engagement among Librarians with Master's Degree. Research has a great impact on librarians' role in the society nowadays. This role has integrally involved providing research services to the students, faculty, and staff, both public and private sectors. It also investigates changes in its provision of services to satisfy the needs of the clientele, contribute systematic applications and excellent practices in the library, and also build knowledge where people can innovate. Indeed, librarians are expected to engage in research to contribute to the practices of excellence in the service of the organization they served. Consequently, Master's Program in the Library Information Studies in the Philippines underscored the importance of research in LIS education and the practices of the profession. This is important because engaging research as a practice will develop librarians' knowledge on the research process and improving critical thinking skills. As a result, librarians would have a deep understanding and analysis of the demands and satisfaction of their library users. Despite the importance of research engagement in the profession, however, Filipino librarians are lack of research-mindedness because of their multiple roles in the library. Ill-prepared to take on research due to lack of education and research skills and demands of already heavy workload. Lack of time to complete a research project, and familiarity with the research process, lack of support for research, both emotional and monetary, lack of confidence, and lack of motivation. Apolinario and Eclevia 2014 reported that the current research practices of Filipino librarians are on substandard level, particularly on research quality and participation, perceived ability and trust, and training needs of librarians from various libraries in the Philippines. Therefore, librarians should captivate valuableness of research engagement by greater involvement on a research tasks. With this, librarians are challenged of their ability and competitiveness to collaborate in research studies and how they perceived research in accordance with their interests, knowledge, and attitudes. Hence, evidence-based librarianship involves encouraging librarians to conduct research. In addition, with the rapid improvement of technology, increased demands of services, developments, and innovations, libraries are expected to level up. Thus, this study was conducted to determine the influence of self-efficacy and perceived valuableness in research on the participants' behavioral research engagement. In the next presentation, I have here the theoretical and conceptual framework. The study is anchored on Bandura's Self-Efficacy of Social Cognitive Theory in the year 1977, Theory of Planned Behavior by Isaac Azin in the year 1985, and Behavioral Engagement by Fredericks et al. 2004. On the other side, I have here the conceptual framework of the study that aims to determine the participants' level of self-efficacy, perceived valuableness of research, in its implication to behavioral research engagement. Also, research looked whether participants' self-efficacy and their perception of valuableness in research significantly influence their behavioral research engagement. So, here is the schematic presentation of the study. To move on to the research methods, the study was utilized the mixed method research design or the quantitative and qualitative. The research instruments in the study were adopted from the various sources. To measure the self-efficacy in research, the research self-efficacy scale of Bucas-Turk, Atalay, Kuzgan, and K-Popsy 2011 was used as a reference. The second part, which measured the perceived valuableness in research, was based on Brennan et al. 2017. Instrument entitled SIR, Seeking, Engaging with, and Evaluating Research, Test, Retest Reliability Scale. The third part measured the behavioral research engagement adopted from the Research-Made Questionnaire on the Librarian's Research Engagement Thesis Study of CERNA 2018. Slight modifications were made to suit the context of the participants in the current study. So, the participants of the study were limited to all master's degree in library information science within Northern Mindanao and Caraga region. So, the researcher focuses on this region because of the larger number of population. So, out of 76 participants, only 64 librarians responded to the study. For the data gathering procedure and ethical considerations, the researcher checked on the yearbook and looked for the names of the theses available in the Learning Commons to obtain data for the number of MLS graduates. So after the information were gathered, the researchers started to communicate to the librarians through online and text messages to formally ask their permission to conduct the online survey. In the questionnaire, informed consent was secured by the researcher from the participants, ensuring that the data gathered were kept with utmost confidentiality and would not in a way encroach upon the rights and dignity of the participants, nor would it cause legal and financial harm to the institution. After the confirmation from the said request, the researcher sent the link from the created Google Forms via email and messenger. The researcher also went to some universities and colleges in Caraga region to formally ask the permission from the head librarian to float questionnaires to the librarians who have master's degree. Their informed consent was also sought, and they were assured that the responses would be treated with utmost confidentiality. After collecting their accomplished questionnaire, these were then quickly reviewed to ensure that all questionnaires were answered. The researcher was able to complete the data gathering within 3 weeks. After this, all the data were then sorted, tallied, tabulated, and statistically run using the SPSS software. For the statistical treatment of data, the study made use of descriptive statistics to describe, analyze, and interpret the collected data from the problem 1, 2, and 3. Also utilized the regression analysis to determine if there is a significant relationship between the variables. And lastly, open-ended questions to solicit opinions from the participants to further enhance the self-efficacy in research and behavioral research engagement of the librarian. For the next presentation, I have here the results of the study. First, the level of librarian self-efficacy in research. So the study showed that the participants had a high level of self-efficacy in research with an overall mean of 3.83. This means that librarians have high confidence in their ability and knowledge to conduct research. This finding conforms to the findings of Eclevia 2014, who articulated that Filipino librarians demonstrated a high level of confidence in research, especially in preparing data collection tools. So on the other side, I have here the presentation on the highest indicators stated that librarian can systematically keep a record from the results of the literature survey, can also effectively carry out the literature survey by using various channels like internet, library, and etc. And also can decide which approaches to use for research problem, be it quantitative or qualitative. And lastly, can also create an appropriate title when writing up with a research. For the problem 2, we have here the librarian's perception of valuableness in research. So the study revealed that the librarian's perception of valuableness in research is high, with an overall mean of 4.29. So this implies that librarians consider the research as a highly useful or essential because it can further enhance their capabilities in the profession, upgrade their skills and competence in giving the right services and information resources, as well as guide the learners effectively and efficiently in the utilization of such resources. And most importantly, for the library's upkeep of their systems and operations. On the other side, I have here the highest indicator stated that research, information, and skills is helpful to the librarian in the future. Research also introduces them to the new concepts and theories. And lastly, research improves their understanding of the research process. For the problem 3, we have here the level of librarians' behavioral research engagement. So the study revealed that the participants' behavioral research engagement is high, as indicated by the overall mean of 3.76. This shows that the librarians are into research as it greatly enhances their expertise, skills, and capabilities. Thus, they can provide more assistance to the patrons and can practically educate them on the use of the various information resources that suit to their research project. On the other side, we have here the highest indicator stated that the librarian can select information to understand and assess the validity of statistical research results. They can also share research findings with their fellow librarians through the different forums and seminars. And lastly, they can collect information to obtain funding and resources for internal and external research projects. For the problem 4, we have here the relationship between the self-efficacy, perceived valuableness in research, and its influence to behavioral research engagement of the participants. So regression analysis shows that self-efficacy and valuableness in research significantly influence the librarian's behavioral research engagement. So therefore, the null hypothesis can be rejected. For the open-ended questions, here are the solicited opinions and suggestions from the participants. Specifically in the problem 5, so the areas of research writing that the participants needed to be strengthened. So here are the 5 areas. So we have here the data analysis and interpretation, review of related literature, introduction, formality of the title and statement of the problem, theoretical framework, and lastly, the research methodology. So the problem 6 is focusing on the participant suggestions to improve the research engagement of the librarians. So the suggestions segmented by the participants to improve research engagement of the librarians were focusing on their professional development, reading and keeping abreast of the trends and issues in the professions, collaboration and mentoring, and lastly, the importance of time management and focus. For the conclusion and recommendation, so in conclusion, self-efficacy and perceived valuableness in research in relation to research engagement will remain vital in today's librarianship due to the increasing demand of services, developments, and innovation, as well as technology advances. So the following recommendations are hereby offered. First, that the Professional Regulatory Board for Librarians may establish a continuous professional development programs specifically in strengthening the research writing skills among librarians. Second, library administrator that may continue to recognize the importance of research and publication for advancement and development and to continue supporting the librarians in terms of enhancing their capabilities through attending seminars, trainings, and etc. For LIS faculty that may promote new strategies and encourage their students to enhance the research skills and capabilities, as well as to provide more insight and relevant learning intervention, particularly on research engagement. Fourth, for the librarians, that they may encourage to invest more learnings and knowledge to engage in research, thus to deliver quality services for the benefits of the users. And lastly, for the future researchers that may consider exploring factors apart from the other variables that will boost librarians' commitment to research and encourage them to do so. As a result, the status of LIS researchers will elevate in the country. These are the list of references. I would like to end this presentation with a quote of Pope Francis that life is a journey. When we stop, things don't go right. Indeed, never stop learning and discovering for your self-improvement. Roads might get tough along the way, but never forget that God is there to lead and strengthen our faith if we believe. Thank you and have a great day.